speech in 3, 2, 1. As a government member, I totally disagree with what the deputy of opposition said, that the impoverished, the corruptors is not related to the crime justice system, since they believe that the only corruptors, they need to take the responsibility for what crime they did, right? But I believe that impoverished them will give so much deterrent effect, even though it's not only affect the corruptors, but also the family. It's going to make a deterrent effect, and also scaring the other people who have the same interest to do the same things, in this case corruptions, and also scaring people who right now do the corruptions. The opposition said that we need to send the corruption to the rehabilitation instead of impoverish them. But I believe that send them to the rehabilitation is totally ineffective, since in our country, for example, people who stay in the rehabilitation still can rule what outside the rehabs. They still can ruling their works, and also still can access what outside the rehabilitations. This could give them change to do the same things, or I mean, in this case, corruptions. They still can do the corruptions even though they are inside the rehabilitations. And then the opposition said that we can't let the corruptor to pay more than what they stole, right? But just like what Prime Minister said, that if we ask them or require them for pay more than 100% of 100% rate from what they stolen, we can steal the money that the corruption give back to us for another purposes, such as education, health, welfare, etc. They will be so much benefit us as a government. So I totally agree with what the Prime Minister and the deputy of government said, that we need to require the more paybacks, and also impoverish the corruption in the family. Thank you.
Okay, before I start my speech, I'm gonna start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Before I give my point into member of opposition, I want to reinforce the point submitted by the government before. That's two things. First is payback with amount of the money that's stolen by the corruptors. Secondly is deterrent effect into the corruptors. And I want to explain why I repeat the government points, which is the two things that I said before. It's because this is an important thing, which is two, like the points that I want to say before, payback and deterrent effect. I mean, the corruptors, they should pay back what they do, like what the opposition said before, that I agree with them, is what they do is what they gain. Okay, next to the point that I want to speak as a government whip is first is payback. So I believe as a government whip, payback that corruptors give into the government or the society, it's really important punishment to apply to them, because it's not the justice if the corruptors doesn't give anything or any payback. It's not just about the amount of money, it's any assets like maybe what they spend from the corruptors' money. I'm sorry, corruption money or anything what they spend from the money laundering, massive money laundering. But the payback is not just chilled 100%. It can be more, like what the government said before, because the more of the amount the payback that corruptors give, it's giving a positive impact or good impact or benefits into our country, like what government members said before is financial things or financial development, health things or health development, etc. And secondly, it's the most important things is deterrent effect for the corruptors. Deterrent effects had three parameters in my opinion. First is family effects. What does that mean? It means like what opposition said before, the family doesn't deserve what they leads a family do, which means corruption. I think this is a family that they leader of family do, which is corruption, is deserved to get what they got. Sorry, because let's take an analogy from the opposition side before. The cases that the leader of family, which is dad, was doing gambling, and the family should not have had any impact for the dad because the family doesn't do it yet. I mean, doesn't do it as well. I think this is such a wrong relation, because if the lead of family, which is dad or even mom, because corruption doesn't straight into dad or mom, I mean father or mother. If the father was such a good leader of family, the father or by himself should think or should appear that what the consequence if I do the corruption, what should I get? I think, what did I get if I do this? And of course, if they think the family will get the impact, of course, the negative impact, and of course, it's not just a family, it's about the entire state that they live in the government side. If they have a thing like that, they will have a less interest to do the corruption. They will think like, oh, what's gonna happen if I corruption? What's gonna happen to my family? What's gonna happen to my citizens if I do corruption? That's why I said it's not related if family doesn't deserve. Of course, this is such an important punishment into the entire someone that's related into the corruptors act. Because secondly is awareness of the, I'm sorry, and secondly the parameter of the deterrent effect is awareness. If the cases, like I said before, family impact, it's gonna make other people in government, it's not about just government. The point is the people that want to do corruption, it's get awareness into this, because they will think like, oh, it's gonna make my family into negative impact. It's gonna make how about my society, how about my citizens? They will get bad impact. They will get negative impact. That's why it causes awareness into someone that want to do the corruption. And secondly is the deterrent effect into someone that doing corruptors or ex-corruptors. It causes decreased number of corruption in our state. Let me get it simple. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm forgetting about the one point, which is the opposition said that they suggest the rehabilitation over impoverished the corruptors. Let me take the simple example. In the Southeast Asia, there is a country called Indonesia, which is the one of the most country that have a high number of corruption percentage. In Indonesia, they have punishment, even the things that happen nowadays, or like 1 years ago, the characters of COVID-19 case. The point is they do the corruption into the COVID-19 government help. The corruptors get death penalty, but it's that death penalty punishment because of that. But as I know, until this day, there's still a lot of people who do corruption because it is a simple punishment if they just got into the jail for 2 years, 1 years, or 3 years, even it is 10 years. There's still a lot of people who do corruption because I think it's not fair punishment into the corruptors because what they do is not equal with what they gain. That's why improve as a government whip, I believe improvise the corruptors is the better choices instead of rehabilitation, because I think rehabilitation is kind of useless into this people who doesn't have any consciousness about how important is their family, how important is people around the world, because corruption is happen in the entire world, not just in our states. Thank you.